Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Small Talk with Shibby, my LCS post-game interview content. I am joined by Golden Guardians Stixxay. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I know it's not the start of the season that you wanted, but how are you kind of taking it in right now?
I mean, pretty frustrated, obviously. Starting as 0-2 is like not what we expected, but at the same time, I think it's important to not like overreact or anything. We're still kind of like laughing it off, like, oh shit, we're kind of griefing guys. Because it's kind of like we know that we'll be okay, you know. But yeah, we just gotta fix up a couple things.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things like MSI hangover, off-season, everything like that. You guys had to compete for a pretty long time. You didn't have a lot of time on this current patch. I do want to talk about something in regards to your roster and how you are one of the few rosters that didn't make a lot of changes. You virtually did not move any pieces out. What did that kind of allow you guys to focus on as a team, maybe coming into summer, right? Obviously, you guys had the MSI stuff, but you know, other rosters need time to gel when they replace pieces. You guys didn't. So what were you able to really focus on, maybe gameplay wise, mentality, maybe even structure of how you facilitate certain fights or objectives? What were you able to work on?
Yeah, I think for the most part, when you change rosters, it always takes time to adapt to, you know, certain play styles or how certain people like to do different phases of the game. And for us, it's very like, even though we took like a bit of a break after MSI, it's like, okay, we came back into it and it kind of felt like, okay, we're back. Like we already know how everyone plays. We know how everyone thinks for the most part about the game. So yeah, there's not really much to, I guess like there's no like gel period. It's kind of just like, okay, can we just kind of keep up our level that we had at MSI, and can we keep up the things that we learned from all the teams that were better than us at the tournament? And yeah, kind of bring that back to North America. And it's kind of weird because I think in our practice games we did a lot, but yeah, in our stage games it was like a different story. So
and I talked to Licorice yesterday. He said that you guys really were trying to kind of focus more on being a more diverse team in regards to how you want to play the game, how you want to approach the game, even potentially carry from different roles. Obviously, River has been kind of been allowed to let loose on some of the jungle picks, obviously with the Nautilus jungle, the Jax jungle. Is that kind of what you're trying to translate from scrims maybe onto the pro stage, onto the professional stage, right? Trying to be a more diverse, you know, team in regards to winning and bringing that potentially into Worlds?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we played a couple of different styles last split that were successful for us, but yeah, I think we're kind of just, I don't know, being a bit more loose with our champion picks and stuff, because I think we had a specific set of champs that we were really good at last split and that we would consistently win on. For example, you know, Sejuani and Vi with River, like I think we were undefeated on those champs. So yeah, for the jungle, and for everyone in general, I guess we're trying to just have more fun with it. You know, if we want to try a new champ in a new role, or yeah, you know, it's fine to just try it out. Like, and if we lose, we lose. It's not a big deal. So
yeah, and I spoke to some other individuals as well. You know, they kind of prefer having like some of these kind of problems early on, right? Like starting 0-2, starting 0-3. Obviously, with the attitude you have right now, you don't seem too worried. Do you think it's kind of a benefit sometimes, you know, that to have these problems earlier on to get them fixed rather than maybe potentially facing them during playoff time? Because you're one of the teams that fixed everything in Spring Split. Obviously, you made a huge run onto MSI. So are you just not worried? Is it better to have these problems now?
for sure, yeah. I mean, I think we prefer it happening now than like towards the end where like playoffs actually matters. I think for us, it's like for the most part, we're kind of, you know, I won't say guaranteed because nothing's like guaranteed or expected, but you know, we're expected to just automatically make playoffs. So our goal is kind of just, okay, let's just get top 4 for the upper bracket seeding, and then, you know, let's make it to Worlds. So I think, you know, starting out at 0-2, it doesn't really change our mindset of how we're going to play this play. We're kind of playing for the long con, right? So
Yeah, and speaking, I mean, to the long con, it is a little bit rough that you guys have transitioned now to a super week schedule. Does that kind of hurt your guys' prep as a team overall, like prepping for 3 games versus 2? Obviously, you guys are going to be introduced to the new scrim block schedule. How do you kind of feel about all that, and how has it been kind of maybe adjusting to that schedule?
I think we all prefer the super weeks, to be honest. I think when you scrim like 4 days a week and then you only get to play 2 best of ones, in which, you know, it's a best of one, like unlucky things can happen. You could just lose. It's like, well, shit, we just prep the whole week for that. But now it's like, okay, you scrim a little less and you play more, so you get to like show your actual performance in stage games. It's more important. So I think almost all of my team prefers that. It's just more fun, more games to watch. So yeah, we like that.
I don't think it's any secret that you've had a massive renaissance in your career, right? Obviously, in spring, I asked Licorice the same question yesterday, and he kind of said, like, I didn't really change anything up. I practiced the way I practiced. I can't really pinpoint any moments. For you in particular, did something click for you maybe in your maybe down periods, couple last years into now the spring split and now here? Or did you change up your, eating schedule? Are you eating more apples? Like, what's happening?
I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of it came from the years that I lost a lot. I kind of built up like some trauma from that, and it made me more scared to play the stage games because I started to do the mindset where I was just afraid of making mistakes. So I was just, I was playing. It sounds really cliche, but I was playing to not lose rather than like playing to win. Nowadays, I'm a bit more aggressive. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. Like when I first shined as a player, it's because I had really aggressive tendencies, and I would just kind of go for plays if I saw that. And after a while, I stopped doing those things that made me good, because I was losing so much, and I just kind of lost confidence. But yeah, I think winning is one of those things where it kind of just fixes everything. And once you win, you gain confidence. You feel like you can do more. So yeah, kind of back to that.
Do you think that's maybe like a trap or a mentality that a lot of AD carries kind of fall into, right? Because you're arguably one of the most important, if not the most important roles in any point in the game. Do you think like losing a lot, dying a lot, do you think that can like really shift your mentality as an AD carry player where sometimes you have to go aggressive, you have to gale force and flash over the wall for the kill? Do you think that, that's something that's pretty common for ADC players?
Yeah, I mean, it does extend to all the roles, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like any role, if you're just on a losing streak for, in my case, it was literally years. You're gonna at some point just be like, I must be doing something wrong. I need to do something different. If you don't, then you're just built diff, I guess. But yeah, I think I mean, yeah, you're right though. AD carry is probably the most important role in the game. So if your AD carry isn't, stepping up and doing his job, then the game is gonna feel very hard.
Obviously you got to reunite with Huhi last split, and you've played with him multiple times now. Throughout all the times that you've played with him, how has he surprised you maybe in stepping up his game, maybe changing his game? Because he's been also another player that we would argue has had a renaissance, that has won on different roles. Obviously, you played with him when he was a mid laner, and you've played with him as a support all those different times. How has he been able to surprise you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those people that thinks about the game in a very just a very interesting way. I think whenever he looks at this situation, it could be any random situation in a scrim or LCS game, he kind of understands how to figure out what the correct thing to do there is. And I mean, League is essentially like a game of chess, right? You're just moving your pieces around and figuring out, okay, this piece should go here to fix this issue, blah blah. And he's really good at that. I think he can just, yeah, like I said, look at a map and just be like, okay, this should be happening. I think that's his main strength, is just his his macro knowledge about the game, and he kind of can. In our games, he kind of moves the pieces around well by himself. So.
Yeah, and I would also argue you guys have a pretty solid coaching staff. Obviously, how have they been instrumental in kind of helping you view the game, helping you kind of improve your individual game? Like, obviously, Inero moved up to GM not too long ago. You guys got a new coach in. How has that coaching staff been instrumental in your guys' success?
Yeah, I think our coaches, they generally do a pretty good job of just keeping us accountable. I think it's easy, especially when you're in a situation like our team was, where we won a lot last year, to just get kind of complacent and let silly mistakes happen because oh, that wouldn't happen in an actual stage game. We're just messing around at scrims. So they try to keep us accountable and that let us know that, hey, you died on this timing. That's not okay. That kind of thing. So yeah, they just keep us accountable in our day to day, and outside of that, just they're always keeping up with the other regions and the draft situations and what's going on. So,
well, thank you so much, Stixxay. Any last words to your fans? Obviously, not the start that you wanted. Any words for the Golden Guardians family?
Yeah. So I was watching this Arnold documentary on Netflix. So I'll say I'll be back.
Okay. Okay. You'll be back. Well, thank you so much, Stixxay, for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Cheers.